Ah, this is the life. Just one email to the office and I'll be done. VPN, connect, and... Oh, why is nothing happening? Network? No, I've got internet, so why can't I? Yeah, we've all been there. Working at home, or the beach, isn't the same if you're not inside your company's network. Sure, you can still attend meetings, but a lot of your important files and apps are protected behind the firewall. And if you can't even connect because the VPN server is down, that firewall might as well be a real wall. I don't need to tell you your company's productivity will really drop if your remote workers can't connect through the VPN. If only there was a way you could find out right when it went down, so you could, restart it. Maybe monitoring? Well, your existing monitoring system can already tell you when your company's VPN server is crashed, or your network engineer typed a wrong number when setting up a new configuration. Here's the problem though, those checks are from inside your company, but your remote workers aren't. So you can't just check the hardware. Users don't see hardware, they see their apps and their services. You need something that looks at apps from a user's point of view, but that you can still use like any other monitoring check. So here's an idea. Go beyond traditional monitoring checks and give visual monitoring a try. A visual monitoring system like Alyvix uses the GUI to point, click, and type, just like real people do. So if a real user clicks on the VPN connect button and nothing happens, then visual monitoring will also click on the exact same button and see nothing happening. That's when you raise an alert and somebody fixes it, often before any real users even notice. Alyvix really shines when you ask it to check the exact same critical task 1,000 times a day. Can you imagine wasting a real person's time like that? I'm glad I'm not wasting my time like that. Now, is my VPN up or not? So how does a typical VPN client work? Well, here I've got Mozilla VPN installed on Windows. But basically, when you want to turn on almost any VPN, you click on the VPN icon in the system tray or desktop like this. Move over to the on button and press it. Depending on your IT department's policy, you may also have to type in a password. And that's it, pretty easy. But that's how a real person does it. It's not how a traditional monitoring system check does it, which is to run a system command or make an API call to code in a browser or an app. But visual monitoring is just like a person. It runs through tasks just like people do, by typing in passwords and clicking buttons. So how can you set up visual monitoring for you? Well, just like with traditional monitoring, you'll want to run a check that measures every few minutes whether a remote user can actually connect via VPN, and whether it takes longer than it usually does. To do that, we'll create something that simulates a user. Let's call it a software bot. This bot will run through a user's steps and tell us the results. These results can also be used to automatically trigger alerts in your existing monitoring system. To create our software bot, we run a program called Alyvix Editor. Alyvix is part of a visual monitoring system that lets you build these bots, called test cases, and then run them on a Windows computer. Build your test case once with Alyvix Editor and then run it with Alyvix Robot as many times as you like, and however often you like. If you messed up your test case build, just fix it in Alyvix Editor again. So let's quickly show Alyvix how to do each of the user's steps. To see what the user should see, we make a screen capture. In fact, we'll make a series of screen captures because that's where the visual part of visual monitoring comes from. From those screens, we can then use the mouse to show Alyvix how to find the Mozilla VPN icon and double-click on it. Then how to find and click on the Connect button in the Mozilla VPN window. Let's look at an example. Say the user has to click on the Connect button. How do we tell Alyvix how to do the same thing? First, it needs to know where on the screen to look for it, but windows don't always pop up in the same place. It could be anywhere on the screen. So after we grab the screen, we draw a square on some part of the window that we can be sure is unique, like the VPN logo, to serve as an anchor. Then we draw another square over the button we need to click on. Even if the window can appear anywhere on screen, the button is always in the same place within the window. And all that's left is to tell Alyvix to left click on it. So when our Alyvix software bot runs, it first finds the window, then finds the button, then moves the on-screen mouse to that second square and tells Windows to left click once when the mouse gets there. So far our software bot can launch and connect via VPN. Is that enough? Of course not. We also want to know whether it worked and how well it worked, like was it fast enough? To do that, we add a step that doesn't do anything like type or click. It just looks at whether the VPN success message popped up. If we can see the message appeared, then we'll know the VPN is connected. Need to be even more sure? You can add steps to your test case. For example, you can launch a browser to a web page that geolocates in the language of your target IP address. And last, we also need to disconnect from the VPN. After all, if we want our software bot to run over and over again 24/7, we'd better disconnect each time, or else our first step won't see that initial connect button when it runs the next time. Oh, by the way, did you see any code when we built our software bot? Any APIs? Nope, we only use the screen captures, the mouse, and keyboard. Ah, that's great. My robot can check the VPN is up before I want to use it. Wait, how does it know ahead of time? Good question. We're not going to pretend we can read your mind. The solution is to run your new robot at regular intervals all day long. Don't worry, the robot doesn't mind. One of those robot runs is just going to happen to be a few minutes before you want to log on. Plenty of time for the sysadmins to get the alert and restart the VPN server. You won't even notice it went down. Ah, that's so easy. Whenever I need to log in, everything always works perfectly. It's great that my IT team back home is always working so hard. Are they? Maybe they've just completely automated it and now it restarts itself whenever it goes down. But what if IT wants to know why it went down? Well, that could take a really long time. A needle in a haystack, right? Well, not if we record the results every time our robot runs. Then IT can look at the historical data and trends whenever they want. It's always available. And since you ran your check every few minutes, you can pinpoint every time it did go down. How? Alyvix works with Alyvix Service to record the results of every robot run. And if you integrate it with a monitoring system like the one you see here, you can drill down with interactive graphs like these, and even correlate your Alyvix checks with other monitored data. You can even see exactly what your bot saw, because Alyvix Service saves screenshots at each step, and automatically creates reports for you with both the screenshots and the timing data. You'll know every time the VPN server went down, and for how long. VPN up, emails sent. I wonder who's got it easier, me or the IT staff. So if my VPN is up, I think it's time to look for some plane tickets.